GM Sprinkles here with another video. Welcome back. Today we are discussing Cypher System combat. Now, I wanted to make this video because I keep seeing on Reddit and other online forums that the Cypher System's combat is boring, it's dull, and is not very deadly. Now, that's all rubbish, and I don't believe any of it, and I'm here to show you all that it can be both exciting, deadly, and have consequences. So this video did turn out to be quite long, so I have had to cut it up in two parts. So stay tuned for next week, where we're going to talk about how to make Cypher System combat more deadly. Now, this was a very important video to me, and I did want to get some extra help with this one. So I did call the big guns in, Spigs18 or Anthony from the Cypher Unlimited Discord. If you haven't checked them out already, please do. They are a huge Discord of all kinds of Cypher System nerds, as well as me. I'm on there, so if you did want to have a chat with me and you are on Discord, you can talk to me there. Otherwise, seriously check them out. So before I get into the video, I do just want to give you a quick update that I now have a coffee. Link in the description below. If you did want to follow me there, I do post my videos and a few other bits and pieces there. As well as if you did want to buy me a cup of coffee, that would be fantastic. If you did want to follow me elsewhere, you can follow me on my other socials, which are Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Alright, onto the video. So firstly, the Cypher System is only as exciting and as deadly as you want to make it. Now, I did speak about this a little bit in my video, the Cypher System Mindset. Video here, also be in the link description. The Cypher System is a good narrative-focused storytelling game. And just like a good story or a good novel, good combat and good exciting scenes require good descriptions. And we need to move away, and I mean we really need to move away from I attack, roll dice. That is boring. Or I cast fireball, roll dice. That's not very exciting. And I did mention this in my other video, that using the Cypher System Mindset as a player, link will be in the description, that we need to flavor up how we do that. And there's a reason why we need to do that. A, it makes it more exciting, and we can really get the most out of all our games. Not just Cypher System. I'm going to be focusing on it because obviously I'm a Cypher System nerd, but as well as Cypher System. Instead of saying, I swing my sword at the enemy, or I stab them, boring. What you want to be saying is I pull my blade back, ready to swing down low at the enemy's legs, but at the last minute I redirect my blade and stab it up towards their chest. Alright, now that's a little bit more exciting, and that was just a really simple description, and you can really expand that to keep combat even more exciting. But if you do that maneuver, firstly, it does create exciting and it creates interaction with you and the villain and shows what your character's like. You obviously want to try and look like you're going low and change your mind last minute. But also, if the villain or whoever you're fighting isn't prepared for that, or if it's a monster who's not that smart, they might be ready to defend low, but you've gone high. So as a Cypher System GM, I'm going to give you an asset if you do something like that, because that is really cool and you're thinking outside of the box. And that's what it's about. We need to think outside of the box and not just reward for I attack. Yes, we want to use those abilities, we want to use those attacks, but also we want to bring in the environment. Depending on where you are and what environment it is, you can use the environment to make your combat even more exciting. And the roleplay shouldn't stop just because you've gone into combat. If you're a character who likes to belittle and tease your other players, say that they're not as good as you, why does that stop in combat? It should be keep going. If you're a calculating tactician and that warrior who doesn't think things through just runs into battle, you can probably say, oh, that's probably not a great idea. Hey, mate, John, don't do that. Come back. And you know, that roleplay should continue. And that headstrong warrior named John, I just named him John, maybe he's like, no, I've got to do this, got to fight. And that's fine, because that's the roleplay, and we should keep that roleplay going even in combat. And if you're encouraging your players to describe things and you're describing as well, the more you're going to get descriptive, the more they are. And you're going to bounce off each other and create this beautiful world. And it's going to be very descriptive and gorgeous. And with those description of those abilities, if you're rewarding them with assets and things, they're going to do it more often. And depending on how you describe it, it tells us a lot about the character. Maybe you've got two adepts in the party and one puts his hand up and holy radiant light bursts forth from his hand. And that's an adept, and that's their onslaught. It bursts forth and seems to push the target and burn them. It doesn't push them back, but as you can see that there's a physical push there because it's holy radiant light, where somebody else might be an adept and use onslaught and it's just a bolt of lightning because they have favor of a storm god or something. And just like that, it asks questions, and we see the players around us and be like, okay, so the heroic guy there, he looks like he must have some kind of divine ability that he's channeling through a god. And that lightning guy, wow, he must be able to control storms or something. And just those little descriptions tell us a lot about the characters. And maybe for some reason you have a third adept, and when he does it, like this dark abyssal flames cover up their arm and shoot forth. And that's their onslaught as well. And that is weird and creepy. Why does their onslaught look like that? That creates intrigue for the players as well. So if a player is describing that, it creates intrigue for other players. And it makes them think, I need to have a conversation once we get out of this combat. But the other powerful tools that will really help combat be exciting is GM intrusions and player intrusions. They have the ability to move the narrative and make the encounter feel more exciting. For example, you're in a cave, there could be a GM intrusion that when a player steps on something, it makes a big echoing noise, and now their stealth all of a sudden is ruined. But I will explain all this in another example that I had from one of my games. The players were fighting a giant crab with a real thick carapace. Didn't look like there was any way they could pierce it, but as it crawled up into the stadium, they were surrounded by marble pillars. They're looking at ways they could take this crab down. Now, one of the things I could do, but I didn't do, would be to GM intrude that when the crab walks into the stadium, its huge hulking form shakes the ground and a pillar falls down towards one of the players. All of a sudden, now the players have to react. They have to roll to dodge out of that pillar. It's exciting, it's scary, and it keeps the environment alive. Now, a player just noticed this and they go, ooh, can I drop a pillar on the crab now? And yes, they can. And now the player might go ahead and they maybe they're an archer and they climb up on a pillar and they shoot a bow, and as they do, they try and kick the pillar over as they shoot their bow from the ground as a rickety pillar. They might spend 1 XP to make sure it falls over. They spend that XP, it falls over, falls on the crab, pinning it down. All of a sudden, we've got these great descriptive words. We've got the GM intrusion and the player intrusion all working together in this great combat encounter. Now, this very difficult combat encounter all of a sudden has not necessarily been ended, but it's got a lot easier. That crab can't move. It's pinned under a huge marble pillar. It may be damaged and almost dying now. And other players had learned that because they watched the environment also attack them. Well, not really attack them, but it was an environment change from the GM intrusion. And that pillar now can be used as cover. If there was no cover before, now they have cover. If they were an archer or someone in the party. And that's the thing about Cypher. It doesn't have the crunch of the mechanics to support all the nitty-gritty things you can do in combat, because it comes up to your imagination and how willing you are to think outside of the box. And that is why I would say that the Cypher system combat is more exciting than any combat that I've played. So that's more than Cthulhu, more than Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and more than Pathfinder. It doesn't have as much rules to support combat, for sure. There's way more rules when it comes to combat in those other systems. However, it is more exciting because the players can affect the world, and so can the GM, with the player and the GM intrusion. As well as if you're describing where your abilities come from, which you can do in any system, as I mentioned in my last video. But if you're doing that as well, it creates intrigue with the players, and you can do that with your villains and stuff, and how their abilities come across. If you're fighting someone who's meant to be evil and they're shooting holy radiant light at you, that might make the players rethink of why they're attacking this person and whether they've made a mistake. And just those small descriptions and those narrative changes can really make combat feel alive, exciting, and also deadly. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you did want to follow me on my socials, check them in the link below. I do now have a coffee, so if you did want to donate there, you can. Otherwise, that's totally fine. Have a lovely day. Keep rolling those dice, but don't let them define you.